I woke up to a text from one of my boys asking for more black filament for a 3D printer. Got him one for his birthday. He's been creating incessantly. It's been so fun to watch this artist bring his ideas to life. And he's rattling through these spools pretty quickly. And I am able to, because of the work that I'm doing here and living out my purpose, I'm able to provide him the things that he's asking for, the tools that he needs to be his best creative self, where he's at in this stage of life. So I feel like, yes, this is, I'm deeply satisfied to be able to provide that for him. And so the parenting metaphor is an easy one on one end of the extreme for our call or that innate feeling that we have to maybe be neighborly in our world. Certainly we can all understand there are relationships in our world that are similar in that way, where maybe when we are being our best self, we then have the means, whether financial or metaphorical, the means, tools, resources, wherewithal to help other people gain footing in the areas that they need to be their best creative self. And so the question I wanted to ask this week is, what are the things in our lives that are maybe preventing us from being our best self? What are the things that prevent us from being our fullest selves? I mean, it could be, I joke about food all the time because I love food, but for a lot of people, food is a very complex, complicated issue, where overindulgence is easy, or genetics works against them, and overindulgence might lead some people to feeling lethargic or biologically drained or not their best or brightest selves. And so it can actually be a hindrance or an obstacle that keeps people from being who they need to be to be our best neighborly self. Drug addiction, mental health issues, or things that we're doing to worsen mental health issues. It could be relationships that we're in that we're not being completely loving, or we feel stuck in, and somebody else is not being completely loving. I mean, there's a million paradigms that exist that could prevent us from being our best and brightest selves. But we all know what that is. What is our vice? What is the thing that's holding us back? What are the chains and shackles that we've sort of allowed to be placed around our lives that we have control over, that we can break free of if we so choose? Romans 8:28 says, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, for those who have been called according to his purpose. Jeremiah 29:11 says, for I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. If scripture is to be believed, that God exists and that God is there and God is loved and that God is calling you to something great, and that God also has a plan for your life, and for those that love him and are turning their face to him and opening their hands and saying, God, what is that? And guide me. Conspire to work within my reality in a way that helps set me on that path, that one that is perfect and good and pleasing to you. And that one will be one where we are our best, brightest self, so that we can then pour that out into other people's lives. And that is the cycle that heaven smiles upon. So that I believe is the call to our life. There's an invitation there in the pages of scripture to rely on him. So I just call you and invite you, if you don't do it, or you've never done it, or thought about it, or whatever, but aren't sure, test God in this way. Test God in this way and just see if the God of all creation will conspire for you.